Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to Scuba Diving Magazine and welcome to Ask Mark, our scuba diving Q&A. Why Mark, a former dive instructor, doing my best to answer your scuba diving questions. So if you do have any scuba diving questions, pop them down in the comment section underneath this video, pop this hashtag somewhere in that comment and I'll get to it as soon as possible. I'll do my best to type out an answer, I get to as many as I can, and then if it's a really interesting question like this one today, I will turn it into a video. And if you look in the comment section and there's an unanswered question that I've skipped over or missed, do your best to answer so that everyone has their answer. Today I'm answering a question from Nick about using an SPG with a transmitter. So Nick says, if using a transmitter, do you still need a SPG? I do on my main, but not currently on my stage, a transmitter only. It's a new setup, so after a little advice. Not really. Transmitter technology today is pretty darn good. As long as you stay up to date with the battery on your transmitter and your dive computer, then yeah, there's no real reason. The only reason to dive with a submersible pressure gauge is like redundancy. Typically I do dive with one, but I think that's mainly down to like training and nostalgia. There's no, like, if something goes wrong with my transmitter, or if something goes wrong with my dive computer, then yes, I still have my submersible pressure gauge. But at that point, the dive is over anyway, and you should have a rough idea of how much gas is left in your cylinder, and you should never be at that point where you don't have enough gas to get back up to the surface. So it's kind of redundancy, if that makes sense. So it's one of those things. It's nice to have. It is increasing the number of like failure points because you've got more O-rings when you have a submersible pressure gauge. You've got the length of the hose as well. We can get caught on things and damaged. It is just something extra. But if you are diving with a transmitter, nowadays it's not really necessary to carry a SPG anymore. As I said, I like carrying one. I just like that, like, I suppose it really is like nostalgia. But with transmitters, yeah, as long as you're checking the battery and replacing that frequently enough, the same with your dive computer, make sure that's topped up and you have lots of power in that, then yeah, I can't see any like beneficial reason to carrying a submersible pressure gauge, because yeah, as I said, even if there is like a connection fault, there are occasional connection faults where they don't talk to one another, but give it a few seconds and it usually comes back. You should know roughly how much gas is in your cylinder, and if there is some kind of catastrophic failure of your dive computer or the transmitter, then yeah, you're going to be ending the dive anyway. So yeah, there's no like other benefit to carrying a submersible pressure gauge. It's tough because in my mind there's like there's a little voice basically saying, no, you should always have a submersible pressure gauge, just so you have an analog backup. The battery cannot run out on your submersible pressure gauge, so always bring one. But actually, I can't remember the last time a transmitter died on me mid-dive. You just get the battery changed frequently, or you have like a ratio transmitter and they got rechargeable batteries built into them. So no, it is getting harder and harder to justify bringing that submersible pressure gauge. Yeah, just keep on top of that transmitter. I was reading a forum post, I think, and someone always used to have a button gauge, which is like that, and that just screws into the to the high pressure port, and they're not particularly accurate because they're really small, but that would just give them a quick visual check of how much gas is in that particular cylinder, instead of having to fire up the dive computer and get it to pair and talk and everything. Just to like do a quick check, just to make sure it wasn't a completely empty cylinder, you'd have a button gauge. But after a while, after a few seasons, he was like, what is the point? I might as well just use the transmitter instead of using a little button gauge. So yeah, maybe next time I'll think about retiring the old brass and glass, but I do like something like tangible to check. I suppose there is a bit of an argument of them like confirming each other's accuracy something like that. They're never going to be one-to-one. Even like pressure gauges, that they're never that particularly accurate compared to one another. But if one's saying 200 bar, the other one's saying 130, you know that something's going on. But again, you should know roughly what's in your cylinder at any given time. So yeah, maybe it is time to retire the good old SPG if you are using transmitters. I don't know, let me know what your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm still happy diving with an SPG, but I might do some soul searching and see if it stays attached to my regulators. Yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let's have a kind of general consensus, see what everyone thinks about them nowadays. Otherwise, yeah, if you do have any other questions, pop them down in the comment section underneath this video. Use this AskMark hashtag to get it featured in an up-and-coming video. Otherwise, remember to check out our website, scubadivingmag.com, all our social media channels and everything. Like, subscribe, do all that good social media stuff. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.